Welcome back to another episode of Greatness Personified. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to do something we haven't done in a while, and that is preview the UFC pay-per-view. We got UFC 300, Alex Pereira and Jamahal Hill in the main event fighting for the light heavyweight belt. So we're going to get started with the prelims first. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. First fight, Deiveson, Figueiredo, and Cody Garbrandt, two former champions. Deiveson was the former flyweight champion. Cody Garbrandt, former bantamweight champion. How do you see this fight playing out?
My first thoughts on this fight is, why did Cody take this fight?
Absolutely terrible fight for him to take.
That's why I was saying, guys like Cody Garbrandt who trying to get back on the win streak. Well, he's on win streak now, but he's trying to get back in the top 10. He need to fight guys who are maybe outside the top 20, around that range, and build some momentum. But you fight somebody like Deiveson, the way Deiveson looked in his last fight against Rob Font.
And beating Trevin Jones and Brian Kelleher is not enough for you to warrant saying, okay, I'm ready to fight Deiveson Figueiredo. It's just not enough. Maybe he's going to go out and try to implement some type of wrestling, but realistically, Deiveson should be able to stuff those takedowns, keep the fight on the feet, and we know how this fight more than likely going to end. I've defended Cody Garbrandt's chin so much, but I can't defend the decision making. Final thoughts?
Easy win for Deiveson, maybe decision.
Yeah. Next fight is Bobby Green versus Jim Miller.
Bro, you got to pull up Jim Miller's record, man.
Jim Miller has been more consistent in his last few fights, and Bobby Green has been a mixed bag. The difference maker is Jim Miller has been fighting people who are either not in the UFC anymore or they are at the very bottom tier. Eric Gonzalez, Nicholas Mota, Donald Cerrone, Jesse Butler, Gabriel Benitez. Meanwhile, Bobby Green has been fighting Grant Dawson, Jalen Turner, Drew Dober. It's a tough fight to call because both of these guys, you never really know what you're going to get. I would stay away from this one personally if it came down to putting any money on it. But what you think?
I was going to say, you can tell a lot by a fighter by who they lost to. And if you're going to look at Jim Miller losses, he's losing to mid-tier fighters at best. What do they all have in common, man? They're mid-tier.
Alexander Hernandez, Joe Selecki, Vince Patel, Scott Holtzman. None of these guys are elite or anywhere near elite.
He cannot compete with anybody that's mid-tier.
And yeah, Bobby got some losses, but Islam, champion, Drew Dober, top 15, Jalen Turner, top 15, top 10, depending on whatever.
Yeah.
So if you had to lean one way, probably Bobby Green. Unfortunately, he does fight in a way that gives his opponents opportunities to get back in the fight, and you never know if you're going to get a good version.
Stylistically, I just think this is an easy win for Bobby Green.
Yeah, should be. It should be, but you never know. The next fight, Sodiq Yusuff versus Diego Lopes. This is a very interesting fight. Diego very entertaining, man. He took the fight against Mobsar on short notice, almost submitted him. That was absolutely sick. And then he knocked out Pat Sabatini. And then we got Sodiq Yusuff, who's been very impressive. He did lose his last fight, but it was a 5-round fight against Edson Barboza. He actually almost knocked Edson out in the first round. But Edson's so tough and durable, he stayed in it, and then he ended up being able to reverse the momentum. It was a very good fight. It was a Fight of the Year candidate, so it was nothing to be ashamed of. How do you see this fight going down?
The issue I got with Sodiq is sometimes he don't pull that trigger. Sometimes he could be a little bit gun shy. And then somebody like Diego, he's going to go out there, he's going to be aggressive. I can see a world where Sodiq don't go out there and give it his all and he lose a split decision or lose a close decision.
And I can see a world where if he doesn't show that he got that dog in him, and I'm not talking about being durable, I'm talking about pulling the trigger like you said. If there's an opportunity to get Diego out of there, you got to take it. Don't hurt him and then give him an opportunity back in the fight. Because realistically, if Diego hurts you or get any opportunity to finish you, knockout or submission, he's definitely going to do it. At the very least, he's going to win that round very decisively. And I kind of lean a little bit more to Diego just because of that killer instinct. That's what I meant to say. That killer instinct is a little bit more evident in Diego than Sodiq. I do have to lean a little bit more to Diego for that point. But the experience and
the speed and the power
and athleticism and the potential of Sodiq, this is another one of those I'm going to stay away from. I'm going to just enjoy the fight.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I think it should be an easy win for Sodiq. Just athletically, I just think he has the only issue he really has is sometimes he don't pull the trigger, but he should be able to get Diego out of there, man. I hate to say it, man.
Yeah.
It comes down to which version of Sodiq we get. You know, sometimes if he's tentative, then he can easily lose to Diego.
Yes. But at the same time, if he goes out there and we get that good version, he could really go out there and show that he was in the top 10 featherweights for a reason. The next fight, we have Holm versus Kayla Harrison coming over from the PFL. How do you see this fight playing out?
This is gonna be Kayla versus her weight cut. You know, she fought at lightweight.
It was 150 or something.
155. She fought at 155. Is it 155?
I think she fought in multiple weight classes over
Yeah,
there.
she fought at 155, but she had one fight at featherweight. But going from lightweight to bantamweight in the UFC, man, that's a lot of cutting weight. I don't really like Kayla fighting in the bantamweight division, but she kind of don't have a choice because what they're gonna do, open up another featherweight division, open up another lightweight division. Maybe they can in the future though, because there are a lot of lightweights out there. Holm should win this, man. Kayla is gonna have to cut all their weight and stuff. If we were talking about in the lightweight division, easy win. Kayla is easy win for her, man. But we talking about in the bantamweight division. Ooh, 42 years old.
Yeah, Holly is 42 at this point.
Holly ain't what she used to be too, man.
She's not, but she has not looked as bad lately. She does have a good win over Irene Aldana and Raquel Pennington. Irene fought for the belt. So she got some wins that are aging pretty good right now. And she did lose a split decision to Ketlen Vieira, which some people thought she won that fight.
I thought she won that one.
So there's one path to victory here for Kayla. And it's going to be real tough because across all MMA, you talk about a striker who has had to fight people who only wanted to take them down, and you talk about somebody who's been successful at keeping the fight standing up. Even if the fights, a lot of them were boring and they weren't very memorable at all, Holly is one of the best people in the world at keeping the fight standing up. And whether she do anything with it or not is totally different. But the next fight, we got Jéssica Andrade and Marina Rodriguez. This is going to be an exciting fight, but you talk about a major height and reach disadvantage for Jéssica. Jéssica just got back on track with a win against Mackenzie Dern here because she was on a 3-fight skid, and Marina, she's coming off of a good win against Michelle Waterson Gomez, but Michelle ain't been too hot lately. How you see this one going?
It depends on if Jéssica taking this fight for a check or not. That's what it comes down to.
That's true.
Because her last couple fights, she just showed up out of shape, looked terrible.
Well, she took one of them fights on short notice, right?
A couple of them. It just seemed like she was fighting for money. It depends on which version of Jéssica, but the thing is, Marina got some of the best Muay Thai in women's MMA, man. I think stylistically, she has a chance. It just, the thing is, Marina, she also got some of the worst takedown defense in women's MMA too. I wouldn't be surprised if Jéssica pick up and slam her and submit her.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Marina get in that clinch and then put her down too. So it could go either way. I definitely wouldn't put my rent money on this one. I would just watch the fight and enjoy it. Woo, now we get into something, guys. Some heat. We got Bo Nickal and Cody Brundage. We all know what's going to happen, but what round?
This is tough, man.
Round 1. And this is my thing. A few fights ago, I was so impressed with Cody Brundage. And I told you, I said, man, I'm liking the way Cody is fighting lately.
Huh?
Back when he fought Dalcha and he beat Trayshawn Gore.
He never really looked good.
I know, and this was the argument we had because you said he was losing both of those fights, which he was, but the fact that he was able to stay in it and capitalize, that's what impressed me. So then I thought that he was going to beat Jacek. Went out there, completely itched the bed. Then Rodolfo Vieira went out there, blew that one too. And then Dumas, come on Cody, you got too much experience in the UFC. You're supposed to win that fight. But he is on a 2-fight winning streak right now. One of them was a disqualification and an illegal elbow. But we know what happened. And then Zachary Reese, I mean, come on, man. They threw a dog a bone on that one so he could get a win.
So he's supposed to have 4 losses in his last 5 fights.
Pretty much. Meanwhile, we got somebody here who looking like they might be a future contender at the very least. And some people would say maybe a future champion. I don't know about that. I would have to see a lot more.
I think so.
We would have to see how that plays out. But
well, we haven't seen wrestling like Bo Nickal in a long time. That's why it's hard to say. It's hard to say yes or no, man. Because who have we seen? Like, we've seen a lot of wrestlers fail making it that far in the middleweight division. But his wrestling is way better than most of those guys.
Well, we'll see with this fight. But I will say this: after this fight is over, I don't want to see no more lowball fights for Bo Nickal. If we're gonna play this game of I can beat the champion, he was saying that when Izzy was a champion, I can beat Izzy, I can beat these guys, I can beat those guys. No more of these lowball guys like Cody Brundage. I don't want to see him fighting no Jacek. I don't want to see your next fight. You're gonna be fighting.
What's the turtle guy name? That'd be a good one for him.
Iron Turtle is a good jump. That's a good jump because that guy got good takedown defense. He's strong and powerful, and he's not as dangerous to where you got too much to worry about. But he is a winner. He can get the job done. So after this fight, no more of this low frequency fight stuff. So then let's go to Calvin Kattar and Aljamain Sterling. I want to say this: the disrespect against Aljamain is absolutely crazy, and I believe that in time people will look back on his title reign and they'll have more respect for it. You can say split decision, this, that, and third. How many split decisions did Frankie Edgar win? How many decisions did George St. Pierre barely get away with? I mean, we can really go down that road.
And Aljo fought some all-time great guys too,
exactly.
Man. Well, you fighting Henry Cejudo, you fighting Piotr Jan, you fighting some tough guys.
Then they say, oh well, TJ's shoulder was messed up. But Aljamain didn't know that, and he couldn't control that. We talking about the same TJ who was also coming off a layoff and an injury or a suspension and injuries, and he beat Sandhagen, no matter if we think he should have won or not. So we talking about a TJ who was very capable of winning. It just didn't work out this time, and then it's a bunch of excuses. But they gave Aljamain a good fight that I still do believe is still a dangerous fight against Calvin Kattar. Calvin is coming off of an injury in his Arnold Allen fight, and I will say Calvin got some of the worst luck I've ever seen. The Zabit fight, this was when they first started saying the fights were going to be 5 rounds. They got to this fight and decided, oh no, we're going to make this one 3 rounds. And then this is right when Zabit started getting tired and Calvin almost knocked him out. He was hurting him, and then the fight was over, and it was supposed to be 2 more rounds after that. So, point in the first round where he was going for takedown, and he wasn't able to really just control Sean the way we thought he would if he was able to grab him. And Sean is a stick, and Calvin, I ain't saying Calvin got the greatest takedown.
I think Aljo's gonna dominate him, man. Aljo domination gonna win each round.
I would say 29-28 because I think that towards the end Calvin will start stuffing takedowns when it's too late and the fight is already in the bag for Aljo, more than likely. The next fight we got Jiří Procházka. He just woke up after being knocked out by Alex Pereira, and he found out he's fighting on UFC 300 against Aleksandar Rakić. How you see that fight?
Hey, I went back and looked at the Jiří and Alex fight. Like, the fight was closer than what I thought it was. Because when I saw the fight live, it looked like Alex just dominated him from beginning to end, other than the takedown. It was certain moments to where he couldn't just get knocked out. He could make a mistake. But it looked like the fight was closer, and also there was an early stoppage. I just went back and looked at the finish today. It looked like they stopped the fight way too early.
I'm going to tell you why it wasn't an early stoppage. Because if Jiří had done the same thing to Alex, they would have stopped it and everybody would have been perfectly fine with it. It was not an early stoppage. When you get knocked out and a grown man like Alex falls on top of you in full mount and he can keep hitting you, I don't want to hear that, man. But as far as Aleksandar Rakić goes, he's coming off of a blown knee in a fight with Zhang where they was going to war, but Rakić was winning that fight. This is going to be a good one. I will say, it's like you said, it ain't like Alex dominated Jiří or anything in that first round, but Jiří, it was more so he looked very sloppy and he was very aggressive and was not accurate. He was winging the right hand, hunting for a knockout, and Aleksandar Rakić can fight a real calculated and boring fight if he really want to and squeak out of here with 29-28 decision. I don't necessarily see Jiří knocking out Rakić, and I don't see Rakić just knocking Jiří out either. So how you see it going?
I see Jiří knocking out Rakić. That's how I see the fight going. When have we seen Rakić hurt or anything? When has he fought somebody like Jiří? Jiří is really gonna...
He fought Thiago Santos. He fought Jimmy Manuwa. He fought
Jimmy. What? And neither one of them guys in the UFC. He dropped Jimmy. Are you kidding me?
But I'm saying, if they only got one thing to their name, they dangerous.
But that version of Thiago wasn't the dangerous version. That was the one with the blown knees. And another thing is Rakić come back from injury. We don't know how strong his knees are.
Jiří just woke up yesterday. I don't want to hear that.
And then another thing is, when Jan was banging with him, you could tell Rakić wasn't really comfortable in that pocket like that, man.
Jan only really good at one thing, bro. And come on, man.
Jan was good at leg kicks, punches, and combinations.
On the scorecards, Rakić was winning that fight at the end of the day. We got Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan. I absolutely hate this fight because I love both of these fighters. This fight gonna go one or two ways. Either Charles gonna embarrass Arman or Arman gonna embarrass Charles. I don't see it going to a decision because you got to realize Arman just knocked out Beneil Dariush, which I know Beneil has been chinny in the past. But who was another elite level fighter who has been chinny in the past?
People are saying that Charles struggled with certain type of wrestlers because even against Beneil took him down and held him down for a little bit. I know it ended bad for Beneil, but the thing is, Arman, there is a way to where he can fight extremely safe. Let's be honest. There's a path where Arman can fight really safe and make this fight really boring.
How? On the feet or on the ground?
Both. And he can mix it up, dude, and then...
Man, this is one of those fights where either the young, hungry lion is really a top contender, or this is going to be one of those let me remind you who I am fights, and Charles goes out there and obliterates Arman and really embarrass him. I don't really know how the fight going to play out, man, but...
Yeah, speaking of bad luck, Max Holloway, man, he was right there.
He was right there.
All he had to do was take a featherweight fight. That's all he had to do.
Have you seen the pictures?
Which one?
Max Holloway.
No, I didn't see.
You didn't see the pictures of Max?
And he had a couple months to get ready too and gain some muscle. But you can't blame Max because for years he was in a bad situation.
This is a fight where me and you discussed it when it first came out. I said I could see this being the fight where Max Holloway get knocked out because realistically Max has gone up before, man, and when he fought Dustin, it was like immediately it was like, why did they make this fight?
I don't think he'll get knocked out though, man.
I can see it happening with the way Justin been fighting lately.
I don't think has Max even been knocked down his whole career.
That's why he's due. It's time. It's time.
The reason why I disagree is not like, you remember when Dan Henderson was getting knocked down before he got knocked out.
But sometimes it just happened because you've accumulated so much damage over the course of your years.
But somebody who's never been knocked down, it's hard to say they're gonna get knocked out. I mean, there is a way maybe he can get standing TKO. Maybe that's something different, bro. But like typically when fighters get knocked out, they start hitting the ground, and then it's like, oh, now he's getting knocked down in all the fights, even when he win.
But what about all that damage that's been accumulated over the years, man? Look, Justin already had his cherry pop. He know how to shake back from it. Max, I'm telling you, he's due. It's time. But then I saw those pictures of him with all that muscle, and then I know muscle don't mean you can knock somebody out. This is my problem with Max. When you can hit somebody 400 times and not even drop him, your hands are dangerous, but like your striking is dangerous, but you're not a knockout threat. And Justin can beat him by decision or by knockout. Max can only win by knockout. I gotta take Justin here. Okay, he got more ways to win.
Yeah, but the thing is with Max, it's funny how he knocked out Korean Zombie with one punch. Nobody even talk about that.
And it's funny how Korean Zombie hurt Max and got hurt trying to come in and finish Max, and nobody talks about that.
And the thing is, Justin got to win. Justin really can hold Max down and take him down. You got to understand, this is a title shot. If Justin Gaethje beats Max Holloway, he gets title shot, man. So I mean,
how you feel it's gonna play out?
They're gonna come up with a game plan for Max. They're gonna just.
We've been here before with Max and his lightweight stuff, man.
We know they're gonna come up with a game plan for him to win decision like he did against
Rafael Figueiredo.
Yeah, he gonna do him like he did Rafael. Come up with a game plan.
Yeah, come up with a game plan. Then we got Weili Zhang and Xiaonan Yan. Weili Zhang gonna hold her down for probably about 3 rounds and then submit her, maybe in the 4th, at the very least a decision. And then in our main event, we have
next.
No, how you feel about the fight? Weili Zhang really is that. She really that girl though, for real. And I don't really see how this fight gonna be competitive.
When Xiaonan got a title shot from knocking out Jéssica Andrade, who lost like 3 fights in a row by knockout.
We already see what they cooking up here. We see what they cooking.
Next.
Look, we get it. It's a market fight. But I am proud of Xiaonan though, because she's 18-3. What I like about her, she was one of the first fighters, male or female, who was primarily a striker, who can keep the fight standing up. And even if she get taken down, she can fight her way up to standing up and still win these fights. And a lot of times with these guys, certain people, we ain't gonna name no names, over the course of years, they still don't have no takedown defense. They still can't get up once they on their back. And she's been able to do it better than a lot of these guys. So I got nothing but respect for her.
And also, when I think about this Weili fight, I think about Xiaonan don't have no way to win this fight. With Yan, there's nothing she can do to Weili. She has no knockout power. She can't out-grab her. She has no knockout power. Don't be fooled by the Jéssica Andrade fight. I don't know where they came from.
But didn't Weili Zhang get caught by Rose Namajunas a few fights ago, and that wasn't supposed to happen either?
I think she underestimated her, and that was her only loss, right? She was undefeated.
Nah, she got beat by...
She only lost to one first.
She got 3 losses. She lost that other BS decision to Rose that she probably should have won. But Rose...
She only got 2 losses, right?
She got 3 losses. Remember, they cheated her against that second Rose fight.
Who beat her first?
She lost early in her career.
Oh.
First one. Can't run that back.
That's nothing, because even when Yan fought against Mackenzie Dern, a lot of people thought that she didn't win that fight. You know, so maybe if Yan can make it somewhat close and go the distance, because we have seen Weili get robbed before.
But they did that against Rose. Rose was their golden girl, and then they realized they messed up. But then in the main event, we got Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill. And
why are people talking about this as the bad main event?
You know why?
This is probably the best main event you can come up with.
It's absolutely ridiculous, man. It's just the fact. I'm gonna say this. It's Jamahal Hill. It ain't got nothing to do with the Alex Pereira side. It's got something to do with the Jamahal Hill side. How do I word this? Jamahal is a really good fighter. All his fights are exciting. He finished most of his fights. He only got 1 loss, and even in that 1 loss, that was a very exciting fight. You really can't even run that fight back because we know what would happen. The reality is Jamahal argued too much with fans online, and they can destroy your brand. Because it's like, at some point, it's like...
But that's now, though. What about prior to that? He's defending himself now, man. It's something about Jamahal Hill. It's the fact that he's coming behind John Jones, and that's just a big shoe to fill. I don't know if it's that, but then again, Jiří and Alex came behind him.
The odd thing is, and we do have a video where I made a video defending Jamahal Hill, because for some reason, it's like the disrespect. They said he wasn't the real champion because Jiří gave the build-up. And they said Jamahal Hill beat an old man Glover. We talking about the same Glover that was 10-8 and Jiří. We talking about the same Glover who almost finished Jiří in the first round when he had him grounded pounded and then the time ran out. That fight realistically almost didn't get past round 1.
The same Glover that embarrassed Yan. You remember he embarrassed Yan, took his belt.
It's just amazing how a lot of things Jiří did, Jamahal Hill did more impressively, and they still don't like Jamahal Hill. But now he is fighting Alex Pereira.
And they're going to say that if he beat Alex, then he beat a middleweight.
He beat a middleweight. There's already a built-in excuse. And look, personally, I don't have nothing against Alex. I think this is a great fight. It's a dangerous fight because the one weakness that Jamahal seemed to have right now, coming off that injury, we don't know how healthy he really is. And you fighting the #1 person you don't want to be in there with, throwing kicks. And then you got to worry about the knockout power. So how you see this fight playing out?
But at the same time, Alex did get kind of wobbled against Jiří, though. And there might be all the...
Do you remember when Jamahal said that he going to knock Alex out and it's not going to be close and he not going to wrestle? Realistically, that could happen.
The fun thing is he can't wrestle Alex. That was just odd for him to say that. That's the only thing he can do to win this fight.
I told you this a long time ago. Jamahal Hill don't really go into his bag. He just fight the way he want to fight, but he can really do some wrestling if he wanted to. The reality is, though, Alex is a very dangerous fight, and this is why I'm going to have to lean more towards Jamahal. It's nothing towards Alex. I absolutely love Alex Pereira. I told you this. I said the UFC and the middleweight division especially, they needed Alex because the way Izzy was fighting, I don't care how much you winning. It's just thinking up the joint. Alex is so dangerous, man, and you never know which punch is going to be the punch to put you down. The way he caught Jiří coming in, because it looked like Jiří caught him, but then he got knocked out in the process of trying to finish Alex.
But he can't do that against Jamahal Hill, man. He gonna get knocked out. If you play that game that he did against Jiří, if that version of Alex show up that fought against Jiří, he gonna lose. He gonna get knocked out.
But what Alex gonna have to do is start off with the leg kicks early.
Because Jamahal gonna pick his shots, man. He gonna those same punches that Jiří missed, Jamahal gonna land.
If Izzy was able to snipe you and knock you out.
But he gonna have to bring in somebody like when he brought in Anthony Smith for Glover, he got to bring in the kickboxer, man, who can like.
I don't know if there's many that can really replicate what Alex does, though. The beautiful thing about Alex is that like we know he's dangerous, but every fight we realize more and more that like he's still more dangerous than we knew him to be. It's hard to count him out of anything at this point. He done broke so many records, man. He done made history so many times. I really don't see Alex fighting too much more after this fight.
But the thing is, a lot of people are scared of Alex, man. I know he's a big, strong guy, but I'm saying I don't think Jamahal Hill is gonna be scared.
Yeah.
Because when you lose the mental battle and you step in there, because even when you look at Jiří and Alex before they fight, during the face-off, before the actual fight in the octagon in the cage, it looked like Jiří was a little bit worried. If you compare like their body language, it looked like Alex was ready and Jiří was ready too, but it was more so, oh crap, you know, like he was nervous.
Yeah, Jiří realized it was real. All that screaming in the mountains and stuff and all that, that's one thing, but you can tell during the face-off that Jiří was very nervous and he was trying to hide it and make it seem like I'm ready for the moment, but he clearly was not. Obviously, you can't count Alex out. I got to go with Jamahal Hill.
It's gonna be the kicks of Alex. I mean, I know this is very obvious, but Jamahal, he gonna have to avoid the leg kicks, and Alex is gonna have to avoid the boxing of Jamahal. Because sometimes Alex, because of his pride, for some reason he thinks he's a boxer, man. And seeing that video of him sparring that boxer, he was walking forward with his hands down, getting countered.
Even worse, there are several videos of him sparring boxers, and every last one of them are piecing him up. And we don't really want to accept it because we like Alex. It's hard to accept it, and he stayed in it. He definitely got some shots in. Yeah. But it was very clear that if you got some good boxing, Alex's striking defense really ain't all that hot. And Jamahal Hill got way more knockout power than Izzy, and he know what to do with it.
But maybe if Alex fight safe and just do leg kicks, maybe he can win the decision. Because this fight might actually go 5 rounds. It's not like either one of these guys are susceptible to being knocked out, man. You know, so this fight may go 5 rounds, and it's gonna be like, okay, the boxing of Jamahal Hill versus the leg. Like Alex might literally go out there and throw leg kicks for 5 rounds.
You think that's possible though?
Maybe, but Jamahal, can he take all that though?
I'm sorry, bro, but the way Jamahal put out Johnny Walker and some of these big guys, super dangerous, which obviously they weren't as clean and consistent as Alex, but just the way he knocked these guys out with ease, like they was nothing. And we thought it was gonna be so close, and whoever had the perfect game plan, and he just put them guys away like they was nothing. Alex's only real weakness is his striking defense, and that he gets hit too much.
And also Jamahal is a southpaw, so he really ain't got to worry about the left hook like that, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's Alex's best punch. But it's just the kicks. I don't know how Jamahal Hill, especially come off surgery.
Yeah, that's true.
The Achilles.
Yeah.
That might be maybe Alex is his Achilles heel.
Because he could get kicked, bro, and you know, maybe your ankle get messed up and then it's hard to walk it. Anything could happen.
You heard what I said?
Yeah, that's why I ignored it.
Yeah,
it's a good main event, man. People gotta relax. The moment when they announced this fight and everybody was acting like, "Oh man, that really sucks." Y'all really do too much sometimes on this stuff.
You know why they saying that? Because neither one of these guys talk noise. You know, they used to the Conor McGregors and they used to guys talking noise, and because during this conference they're not going to say nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Because Jamahal Hill gonna say, "I'm gonna let my talking speak for me in the octagon," and Alex can barely speak English, if any English at all, and they don't really like that. Like they want to hear back and forth.
You know what it is? This is one of the fights that everybody's gonna watch and we're gonna love and enjoy, but the build up not gonna be there, if that makes sense.
But we all gonna have lightning running through our bodies when it's time for the face off, and it's a tale of the tape. We're not gonna know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be real exciting. I'm sure it's gonna be an exciting fight and probably a good finish too, perhaps. So people just gotta relax, man. But that's it.
Or somebody get submitted.
Well, Jamahal Hill talking about he ain't gonna wrestle. You get kicked in that leg a few good times and that injury get to activating again. I guarantee you he might get this fight to the ground, and we never know. You gotta realize he flipped Glover over. We ain't seen that happen too many times.